All right, gang, are you ready to geek out once again? Yep, we're going to talk about gear one more time because again, I keep getting some requests or questions about some of the things I've already covered, or in this case, people want updates on some gear that I talked about in the past. Now, the footage that you're seeing here is again from my new Triumph Scrambler 400X. I decided to get out again on a nice day and take it for its second ride, and also play around with some new camera positions. So that's what you're going to see in this footage, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit as well. Who knows, maybe some other things I come up with along the way. So first, let's talk about that big yellow banana jacket that I have on. Yes, my Aerostich Darien jacket. And no, I'm not going to talk about the features or how it performs. I've done that until, well, I'm blue in the face. You all know the score. What I'm going to talk about is that bright high-viz color, and if that color has made any difference at all in keeping people from pulling out in front of me. A couple of years ago, I did a video on high-viz and whether or not there's really any proof that it keeps us any safer. And I think my conclusion was, well, it doesn't really make that much difference. Yes, there are some people that will see you better, but there are still that 2 or 3% of crazy drivers out there that are going to do stupid things anyway. In some of the comments for this video, I had people telling me that they hadn't had anybody who has pulled out in front of them in 3 or 4 years since they bought their banana suit. Well, of course, I was a bit skeptical, but when I was looking for my Darien jacket, I decided to go ahead and give the high-viz option a try. I figured, well, what the heck, it can't hurt anything. And I really didn't want to go with black or gray that were the other two color options at the time. This would be kind of my own little personal experiment. So after putting about 15,000 miles on this jacket and owning it for, well, a little over a year now, I have to say that I don't think it really makes that big of a difference. I mean, yeah, I can point to a couple of times over the course of that last year that somebody, I think, saw me because of my jacket, or I think more likely the lights that I have on my bike. But I still get people who pull out in front of me anyway, even with the lights and even with the jacket. So again, I don't think it makes that much difference. I'm sorry. Next, let's update you on that big white thing I have on my head, my Schuberth C30 Pro helmet. Now, when I first got this, as most of you will know, I didn't really like this helmet very much. It was too tight for me. I tried on an extra large and that was way too loose. So I went with this large model, and it took several months before it finally wore in and it got comfortable. I have to say now, again, after owning it for, well, I guess now it's about a couple years, right, now it's comfortable for me and I enjoy wearing it. Now, there are a few things that I had to get used to, one being that chin buckle system. Right, for me, I'm really used to those D-rings. I like them. I think they work very well and they feel good up against my neck. But that buckle system that they have, the ratchet system, while I know people like it, it's easy to use, but it's just big and bulky. I had to move the ratchet way over to the left side of my chin so that there was enough room so that I could even breathe and swallow. It was just bulky and just bothering me. But again, I finally got it positioned correctly, again, by pushing it all the way over to that left side. Another thing I still don't like about the helmet is that I cannot close the visor by using one hand. Right, so that makes it really difficult. At a stoplight, I pop the visor open, let some air in, and then when I take off, I want to close that visor. Again, I can't get it to snap all the way down with one hand. The only way I can do it is to take both hands and put them on those tabs on the side of the visor and then click it in place. Then it'll close. But again, trying to do it from one side or with one hand, well, I have found it to be impossible. Now, of course, I paid more than $500 for this helmet, so I'm going to keep using it. I'm not going to throw it away and go out and pay $900 for a Shoei Neotech 3. However, as I said in my previous review video, I don't think I would buy one again. Next, I had a request to talk about the Alpinestars Tech 7 boots that I've been holding up in the last couple of videos. People wanted to know how they've done for me, if the dry star lining has held up and kept water out, and I have to say yes. I mean, the couple of times that I rode in the rain or had to wade into a puddle to help push a friend out who got himself stuck, they've worked absolutely great. So I have no complaints about them at all from that standpoint. They are extremely protective. And for off-road riding, which is the reason that I bought them, again, I think they're fantastic. Now, as I said in the previous couple of reviews, I wouldn't, however, use them for a long-distance tour. I mean, yes, I have broken my foot. I do not want to do that again. But still, when you're on the road for a long period of time, you want something that is a little bit more comfortable, again, long term, that you can walk around in a little bit better. So I'm willing to make a little bit of a trade-off for protection versus comfort. Again, but that's just me. If you like that really stiff, heavy protective boot, well, the Tech 7 is definitely the way to go. So now let's talk about some new things that I'm going to be using for the 2025 riding season. And the first one are the clamps that I'm using now to get the shots that you're seeing. I went out and bought myself some new clamps to support the Insta360 camera so I could put it out away from the bike a little bit farther to get some of these pull-back shots. In the past, such as when I went to Alaska, I simply mounted the stick and the camera on my handlebars, and that allowed me to reach it to turn the camera on and off whenever I wanted it. Really simple way to go, and I was able to, shoot in 360 degrees as the camera implies and get all those different kind of views. However, if you want to get a wider variety of shots, well, then you're going to need to move that camera around. And in order to get it to stabilize well, you're going to need the kind of mounting system that you see right here in this image. It consists of two clamps, again, that help keep that invisible stick nice and stable, at least as stable as you can get it. The drawback to this is, of course, you can't reach the camera if it's out away from the bike too far. So you do have to stop and move the camera around, push the button to get it started, stop, and again push the button to stop it. So it's a little more effort to get this kind of views of these kinds of shots than it is just mounting the camera in one location on your handlebars. So it's a trade-off. You can get some more cool shots, but it's a ton more work, and it could take away from the enjoyment of your trip, turn it into a job, which is one thing I try to avoid. The next new item that I have, well, I'm wearing them on my lower body. Yep, those are Aerostich AD1 pants, and I'm going to be sporting those for the 2025 riding season. So far, these pants fit great. They fit a lot more like a normal pair of jeans than did my Climb Badlands Pro pants. I wear a 36-inch jean, and that's exactly what I have in these AD1 pants, and they fit really well. Like I said, just like my jeans do. In fact, there's a belt that holds these pants up rather than the Velcro cinches that many of the motorcycle riding pants come with, which is kind of cool. Another thing I really like is that these have full-length zippers that go up the outside of each leg, which makes it a ton easier to get them on and off every evening and every morning when you're traveling. So that is really cool as far as I'm concerned. Now, of course, I haven't had a chance to ride with them in the rain yet, so I'll be giving you an update when that happens, because it, of course, will happen, and I'll be able to give you an update as far as long-term comfort and so forth goes, because I'm going to take them to Nova Scotia this year. So the last new item I want to talk about, I'm going to give you a preview of it, because later on I'll be doing a full review video on it. And that is, I went out and I bought a hitch rack for my truck to carry this little Triumph Scrambler 400X. I looked at several different racks that are available out there and finally settled on this one. This is called a Rack and Ride, and it's made in Australia, but they ship them out of Colorado somewhere, so I got it within a few days. Great service. I got the adventure version so I can carry not only my 400-pound Scrambler, but also my 600-pound Tiger 1200. Yep, it's rated to carry both of those bikes. I'm not sure the big one will ever go up there, but at least I know I can do it if I really want to. Now, yep, you do see a Kindon trailer, a 2-bike trailer that I have that I could use to carry bikes, well, anywhere that I want to. But the idea here was that I wanted something that was a little bit more lightweight, right? I could just take my truck with the bike on the back of it, throw all kinds of camping gear and so forth in the back of the truck, and then head down to a location and set up camp and ride, just stay there for a week or so and just ride and explore that area without having the drudgery of going from Massachusetts all the way out to, the western part of the United States. I've done that so many times, it's getting kind of old. So I thought, this is a different way to travel. Let's see how this works. So sometime after I get back from Nova Scotia, I'm gonna plan another trip. I don't know, I'm thinking about Arkansas. I don't know, we're gonna check it out, see where I might want to go. But the plan is to take that truck, put the bike on the back of it, go out there, find a place to set up camp, as I just said, for a while, and again, really explore the area. I don't need a bike with all the panniers and everything on it to do it that way, right? I just need something small and fun like that Triumph Scrambler. That's why I got it. So there you go. There's some updates on some old gear, some discussions on new gear I'm going to use, and a little bit about my plans for 2025. So if you have any questions or comments, of course, put them down below. And as always, keep riding safe and keep squeezing that lemon.